Hey, this is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com, and today we're going to talk epic poop stories. So, I'm sure you guys have heard some crazy ones. This one might be the one to top it off. All right, so here we go. So, the year is 2004. I'm in graduate school, okay? And I had zero money, so I'm a graduate student. I'm getting a $500 a month stipend, but my school's paid for. So I got it made as far as school costs go, but as far as extra money is concerned, I just didn't have any. And I couldn't really work another job because I was doing 60 hours of work a week in the weight room, training athletes and going to school. So it was two full-time jobs. So long story short, I'm broke as a joke, right? So I find this old protein that I had bought the year prior. So keep in mind that I was a strength coach, both an undergrad and graduate from the year about 2000 to 2005. So 5 years, a lot of time under working with athletes and things like that. So the year before, I bought this 5-pound bag of protein from Iron Mind. Now, not realizing that this stuff was expired, which already gives you the part of the poop story that becomes completely crazy, right? I make this monster shake that makes this one look like a child. So this is probably 24 ounces. I made one that was like 30 to 40 ounces. We had these monster shakers. So I drink it just to feel, some satiety and not feel like I'm hungry. So the day goes on and everything's fine. And that night, my buddy asked me if I wanted to go and eat at Scotty's Brew House. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go, but I don't have any money, man. He's like, don't worry about it, I'll buy it. So I got this huge steak sandwich, these waffle fries with cheddar cheese on them, and we drink each 2 pitchers of Guinness beer. So talking a lot of carbs, a lot of bread, a lot of gluten, a lot of fried shit. I mean, just nasty, right? The next morning I get up, and usually in the morning at that time I had to take a shit, but I didn't. So no big deal, right? Whatever. I get up, I go to class, and then I go to work. Well, about 11 o'clock or so, the night before, the basketball team had won this huge tournament. I want to say that they won the NIT or whatever, but it was a big tournament. I can't really remember which one it was. And all the people that worked for Ball State got free footlong Subway cards. So I go and redeem my footlong Subway and get double meat, all this shit. Keep it in mind, I have not shit in 24 hours. So I eat this sandwich, and within about 2 or 3 hours, I start getting monstrous stomach pains, literally birthing pains, right? So I'm fucking I'm hurting, I'm starting to dry heave, I'm getting white, I'm looking ghostly, I'm starting to sweat almost like the flu. So I talked to my boss, Wade, and Wade was the head strength coach at Ball State from 1982 to 2007. I'm like, Wade, I don't feel good, man. I need to go home. Something's wrong with me. Not realizing yet that it was the epic poop coming on. So I go home, but before I go home, I go to the grocery store, and I'm getting fucking over-the-counter enemas. I'm getting X-Lax, anything I can get, right, to try to release the demon. And because now I'm starting to realize that I think this damn shake is what done it, but I wasn't sure. I go home. I'm on the toilet for a good solid hour and a half. I'm trying everything in the world to take a shit, and it's not working. By this time, I can't really sit up or stand. I'm laying on the ground, hoping to try to shit myself in the fetal position, right? I mean, it's just not happening. I basically put myself in an old blanket burrito, literally on my side, gasping for air with severe stomach pains, just fucking dying. So, and I'm too embarrassed really to call anybody because I don't know what to do. So I finally get the nerve. I call my grandma, and I'm like, Grandma, she was one of the only people I had that was a close family member still left in town. And I'm like, Grandma, something's not right. I'm not feeling good. You got to take me to the ER. And the first thing she says was, I fucking knew it. You were going to hurt yourself lifting weights. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not my knees or my back, Grandma. It's my fucking stomach. So she's like, oh, well, fine. Okay. So I just busted her balls because she just thought I probably injured myself lifting weights, right? Keeping in mind, I was already really strong at the time. So she comes and picks me up in a PT Cruiser, which was her car, which I could barely fit in, right? I'm 285 at the time. And I can't get to the car. I'm literally crawling on the ground to try to move because every time I moved my stomach, it was severe stabbing pains. Literally somebody was shooting me or stabbing me in the stomach. So I finally worked my way into the PT Cruiser, and we're driving there, and I'm hunched over, and tears are coming down my eyes. I'm hurting so bad. So we finally get to the ER. I got to be wheelchaired in, And I get this damn doctor that just got out of med school, and she was a pretty hot blonde. And I'm just like, great, you know, she's going to want to check my ass out, like, you know, all this crazy shit, which she did. And she comes in, and I'm telling her what the problems are, and she's like, well, let's take an x-ray and see if we can see anything. So, and then when she told me that, the first thing I'm thinking was the old Jackass episode of that when he shoves the toy car up his ass. You know, she's going to think I was at some frat party and I put something up my ass, right? But I didn't. So, so she comes back with this look in her eyes. It was just like, boom, right? Like crazy beaded eyes. And she's like, I don't know what you put in your stomach, but you have the largest white mass I've ever seen in my life. And as soon as she said white mass, I knew protein shake, right? I'm like, oh, fuck. So she's like, I don't know what we're going to be able to do yet. She said, worst case scenario, we got to do surgery. And I'm just thinking, are you fucking serious? So she lays me on my side, and keep in mind, I'm in so much pain, I don't care. My grandma's laying right next to me, like sitting next to me, and I'm on the bed like this, the surgical bed like this, and this doctor is shoving fingers up my ass to try to like figure out what the hell's going on. I'm like, you're not going to reach it with that, right? And it's embarrassing, it's funny, and it's sad at the same time because, you know, nobody wants their grandma to watch them get fucking anal penetrated at the ER, right? So, long story short is she goes, okay, well, let's try this. She's like, they have this medical grade soap, and the soap breaks down almost anything in your stomach. So they give me this huge, like 3,000 milliliter like IV bag full of this sudsy water, and it's got this end on it with a valve that's just like, right? She's like, I want you to shove this up your ass, turn the valve on, and get ready for blast off, right? And I'm just thinking, oh shit. So they wheelchair me into this restroom that's attached to the room that they did all the you know the assessment with, and the next door they must have just built this ER because the walls were paper thin. This other lady across the next side of the bathroom is having a child, like she's in labor, and I can hear the mother talking to the daughter, and I'm thinking, man, when this thing comes out of my ass, it's gonna sound like a demon ripping out of hell, right? And because I'm like, I can't believe that they don't put me on the other side of the hospital and like put me in this area where I can just be in peace taking this monster shit, right? No, they got me in this room where I can hear people talking, and I'm just thinking like, you know, oh my god. So I'm like, all right, so right, turn the valve on, it's gluk 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 gluk, and I can feel it just filling my belly, and then I feel stuff starting to move because that soap just took the protein and just ripped it down into liquid. And she's like, I need you to hold that stuff in there as long as you can to let all that soap break loose. So I would say after the CCs went in my stomach, I would say I lasted no more than about 15 seconds. And I pull the ripcord, and it is fucking coming out of the side of the toilet. Like, it's shooting out like a cartoon, right? It's going all over the floor. It filled the whole bowl. Like, there are parts of my body touching the toilet water that, you know, we don't need to go into, but you can imagine, right? I flush it once, and I fill the bowl overflowed again. Now, this is what's crazy about the whole story. So, obviously, there's literally shit all over the floor. So, I take a bunch of rags, and I'm cleaning all this up. They give me this huge rag pile with like a hamper that they're all going to throw away. It's all biohazard. And I have to clean my own floor because I'm too embarrassed to leave any of that. I mean, it was just the most disgusting smell. Imagine it like 100 degrees outside, going to the dump when somebody just dropped about 5 truckloads of rotten food, and that's what it smelled like. It was just completely disgusting. So you can imagine all of this food that's piled up. We got this 30-ounce protein shake, foot-long Subway sandwich with everything on it, Guinness steak and cheese sandwich, cheddar cheese waffle fries, 2 pitchers of Guinness. Like, my stomach was trashed. This is what's crazy. The day before I started having the pains, I weighed about 288, 289. When I left the ER, I weighed 272. I took an 18-pound shit. I mean, the lady was just completely, insanely, like, blown away. Because I told her what I weighed the day before when I went to the ER. So she said to me that she goes, we often don't tell men that they'll ever experience anything like what it's like to have a child, birthing pain wise. She goes, you might be an exception. She's like, if you would have waited a solid another 2 to 4 hours, you probably would have ruptured your stomach, like just ripped your intestines out. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And she said, then you probably went septic, and if we wouldn't have got it in time, you would have died. But that's what the kind of pain I was in. That is the level. I mean, anybody can beat it like a 16, 18-pound shit, man. Have at it. But that's the poop story. You know, if you guys got anything that can top that, list it below on YouTube. But yeah, it's just totally insane. So I thought I'd share kind of a funny personal story. Almost everybody I've ever heard hear it has laughed their ass off. So hope you guys enjoyed it at my expense, and talk to you later.